Get ready
for another episode
of Live Speak. With Justin the Geek.
Justin the Geek.
Justin the Geek.
Justin the Geek.
What you're about to hear.
Live Speak. Justin the Geek.
Breaking news.
Live Speak.
Interesting guests.
Justin
the Geek.
Your calls and texts.
Live Speak. Tips and news you can use. Warning.
Warning.
This program is highly addictive and habit-forming. Side effects include happiness, knowledge, memory improvement, and retention, increased attention span, loss of disabilities, and more. Consult your doctor before listening to this program.
Now, enjoy the show responsibly.
Welcome, everybody, to Live Speak with Justin the Geek. I am Justin the Geek. I hope everybody had a wonderful week. And yes, all of that rhymed on purpose. I'm excited about today's show. We have a really good guest today. We have some secrets of promotion. If you have anything that you want to promote, product, services, yourself, whatever, there's going to be some really, really nice secrets that he's going to share with us. Justin Mitchell is our guest today. He actually was able to get 1,400 people to subscribe to his online course in 24 hours. And he has an online course called Coding for Entrepreneurs, and that's codingforentrepreneurs.com. You can go and check that out. I'll have that in the show notes afterwards as well. As usual, my co-host for the show today, again, is Alan Kwan. How's it going, Alan?
Fantastic.
Again, fantastic. This man must be the happiest person in the world. Either that or he just lies to me every week. It'd be really weird if you're like, I hate my life.
Things are not going so well, Justin.
Well, I don't know about you. I mean, this is going to be a pretty good show, I think. I say that
I believe so, too, because you told me so.
Yeah, see, that's all you need to know. I say that every week. I know I say it's going to be a fantastic show, but this one's going to be very informative, and I think a lot of people are going to get a lot out of the show. Whether
Depends
they
on how
want
long our intro banter goes.
Yeah, that's true. That's pretty much all I want to talk about and that's the end of the show. Thanks for coming.
We do script this intro banter, right?
Yes, it's all written down. No, I do. I think it's going to be great. And as usual, we'll go ahead and start off. We'll just let the commercial do its thing and pay some bills real quick, and then we'll come back and get right into our tech news. We'll be right back on Live Speak with Justin the Geek.
Coming up on Live Speak with Justin the Geek.
A special one-on-one interview with founder and CEO of Spreaker.com,
the home of Spreaker Radio,
Francesco Baschieri. Find out more about the CEO that made Spreaker.com a leader in broadcasting technology and his story and inspiration behind the company.
Plus your phone calls,
texts, emails, and more. Don't miss this special interview with Spreaker.com founder and CEO Francesco Baschieri
on Live Speak
with Justin the Geek. You're listening to Live Speak with Justin the Geek every Sunday at 2 p.m. He's bringing you amazing courses from great instructors
on Udemy.com.
Lots of tech talk,
phone calls,
and much more. Live every Sunday of every week. This is Live Speak.
Enjoy the show.
All right, welcome back, everybody, to Live Speak with Justin the Geek. The commercial I just played actually for Francesco Baschieri. That's going to be a great show. We have him scheduled tentatively for May 19th. I haven't confirmed that date with him. He is the CEO and co-founder of Spreaker.com, the platform that I use for my radio show. That's going to be a really great show. They're going to make some announcements on the show about the website and the business on my show, so make sure and tune into that. I'll keep you posted on the exact date for that. Alan, you're going to be co-hosting that one as well, right?
You're lucky.
If I'm lucky. Well, then, I wanted to get right into some tech news. I'm going to try something a little different this week with the tech news. So we'll get into the segment starting now.
Good job.
That's my little tech news intro. First story that I want to talk about was something that I found, and it's hilarious to me. It's a Facebook story, and it's a story about a Michigan woman who used Facebook to harass herself. And I know that sounds really funny and strange, but basically the story goes like this. This lady in Michigan named Cheryl Nelson, she's 52 years old, decided that she was going to use her ex-boyfriend's email address and sign up for a Facebook account and then falsely harass herself with it. It says that she made an admission that she had been falsely reporting crimes because she was not able to let go of her relationship with her ex. Evidence shows that Nelson used her computer to set up false Facebook accounts using her ex's personal information, used that account to make it appear that she was being stalked and harassed by her ex, or by her ex's new girlfriend. So she's this lady, Cheryl Nelson, is 52. She's been charged now with false report of a felony and unlawful posting of a message. Did you know that was even a law, Alan?
No, I didn't.
You can be charged with unlawful posting of a message now, apparently.
Interesting she didn't go the traditional route and just be the stalker herself.
Right. Just stalk herself.
Or stalk. No, she did stalk herself.
Yeah.
No, stalk her ex-boyfriend.
Oh, yeah. That's interesting, too, that she didn't get some kind of restraining order, but I wouldn't be surprised. It was over the course of a year. She made at least 8 criminal complaints to the county sheriff's office in Michigan. In Kent County. That just goes to show that's probably not the first time that's ever happened, but that's the first time I've ever read about it, and it just made me laugh. So I had to share that with everybody because Facebook is its own little thing. You can get in trouble with it if you're not careful, or if you're crazy.
Yeah.
And
most people don't need to create stalkers; they just kind of happen on Facebook. That's pretty sad that she had to make her own.
That's so true.
Makes me wonder how many people actually make Facebook accounts of people and then friend them to have more friends.
Oh, that's weird. Well, that reminds me of the show that they have on MTV called Catfish. I've flipped through before, and I've seen that show, and they have people on there that make fake accounts, put pictures of other people on there, and pretend that they're somebody, and then this poor person falls in love with them over the internet, having never met them before. And turns out that they're just a con artist and they are sick in the head and just like to mess with people. But, if you have that many friends and you want to make fake friends, go ahead. But that reminds me, that leads to this other story that I saw, and you showed me this one, so I'm going to let you tell me exactly what it's about. But it's the 0 friends on Facebook equals, 0 friends in real life. It basically is its relationship status. Does having 0 Facebook friends mean that you have 0 friends in real life? Or vice versa, if you have, 9,000 friends in Facebook, does that mean you're popular in real life?
Well, this guy did an experiment, which a lot of people do and just do it. It usually drives me nuts when I see this, when people are, I hate Facebook and I'm going to delete all my friends. And if you're my real friend, then send me a message, things like that. So he did it himself as an experiment. So he lost my train of thought. Where'd it go, Justin?
Where did your thought go? He had an experiment when he was I don't know.
No, he took his status to, I think, single, which he's married, which his wife didn't approve of that apparently.
That's weird.
That in itself is interesting because if you're in a relationship with somebody and all of a sudden they realize that you changed it to single, people take that very literally.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That could be a bummer. Kind of sad, but, I've seen it happen. But he just went through, he didn't tell anybody. He just deleted all of his friends. And he's trying to figure out, and he said while he was going through it, he realized that most of these people he wasn't even friends with most of these people.
Right.
They were friends of friends or people he just didn't know in general. And some of the people he says he just downright despised, but yet he was still friends with them.
Yeah, that seems to be the story with a lot of people on Facebook.
Right.
I don't know when we got into this mind frame that you have to have so many friends on Facebook to matter. In social society. What
he's wondering is, since he didn't tell anybody, they're going to notice at one point, wait, this guy's not my friend anymore. Mm-hmm. And are they going to take it personally and think, wait, maybe he's not my friend anymore? And, he's not going to get invited to the barbecue next week, because he unfriended me on Facebook. So, how do we really take that personally? I know I've noticed it before when I noticed it actually recently. I posted a photo. I found my old college textbooks, and I posted a photo of those and tried to share it with my old college classmates. With my college class was about 33 students. And so I figured I could find most of them, but I realized that I was only friends with probably 5 of them. And
Right.
at one point I was friends with probably all of them. It kind of bothered me for a minute, and then I smacked myself in the face and realized, well, I haven't seen them in 10 years. So,
Right.
you know, and I probably haven't talked to them on Facebook in 10 years either, so why wouldn't they just drop me off their friends list? But I don't know. It's an interesting thing, this Facebook.
Yeah, it just makes you realize, like, do you take it that seriously and make Facebook run your life and control your actual social interactions in real life? I don't think so. But some people do take it really seriously. If you drop them off of Facebook, they'll get really mad. Now I think I'm a little over 100 people on Facebook. Until recently, I didn't need to add people to Facebook. I just used it to contact family and some friends and things like that. Most of the time, if they're my real friends, if they want to get a hold of me, they call me or they send me a text message. But now that I'm, doing the radio show and promoting my online course and stuff like that, I've added more people to my personal Facebook account, and I'm getting in touch with old friends and stuff, and it's pretty nice. But I'm not going to take it personally if those people up and delete me. It's weird, But
yeah, I stopped talking. My show.
I will mute you.
Yeah, you do have that ability. I recently, I've got I'm almost at 900 friends, but then again, that's because I do business stuff on here. I probably don't know 700 of these people, maybe even more. And what I found something interesting that you can do if you click on somebody that you are 100% friends with, and you know that you have friends lost my train of thought. I'm reading chats. I gotta stop doing this.
Yeah.
But if you click on somebody that you are actually friends with, and then look at how many friends you have mutually, and then do that with a couple other of your friends that you are, you're friends with them, and you know that they're in that circle of friends of your real friends. Mm-hmm. You generally see that I've got about 120 to 150 mutual friends. So that's kind of how I gauge how many people I probably actually know. Because if these guys are all mutually friends with pretty much the same people, then it's a pretty good chance they're all in my circle of friends.
Right.
So about 150 people out of 900 that I actually know. So that's good.
Yeah, that is good.
But, it's a trick.
Yeah, bottom line is just don't take it so personally if somebody deletes you. If you do something to make somebody mad and they delete you, guess what? That's their choice. They move on, make a new friend. Don't let it dictate your life. Is it going to make you crazy like it does some people and take it totally personal and approach them in real life and be like, why did you delete me? Some people accidentally delete you. Not a big deal.
Well, and then on the flip side, there's those drama people that, they freak out and get all upset at the world, and they decide that Facebook is the enemy and the reason why their life sucks, and everybody on Facebook must die, and they're going to delete everybody. And it really, most times it seems like they're just trying to figure out who likes them.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And it's kind of pathetic. And I don't think people realize it until they've done it a couple times that it's pretty pathetic. Or until they see that there are other people doing it and they realize how kind of pathetic that is.
Right. And the thing, too, with Facebook, especially if your friends that you have on there have a lot of friends, is they're not going to see everything you post unless they're looking at your page. The newsfeed is just covered with constant banter of anything. So if you post something and it gets lost in there, that's just what happens. You have to expect that not everyone on your friends list is going to see exactly what you post. They might even have you blocked on their cover, on their news feed, so they don't even see your posts.
I don't even know how to do that anymore. It used to be really easy. You could just unsubscribe to them. Now I have deleted people. One for sending me app invites with it's annoying. Yeah, couldn't even come up with a good term for it, but an excessive amount of app invites. When I get 50 notifications from one person at a day, I don't even know how they're playing this many games on Facebook.
Right.
But Or if I, people that overpost stuff, just like they find every funny thing they can think of and post it. My whole news feed is just cluttered with this person, and usually somebody I don't even really know. I will tend to block them or delete them or something, whatever I can do quickly to get them out of my news feed.
Yeah, I'm the same way. Facebook is there for my entertainment. It's not like a tool that I use to run my life. So we're gonna let's run a quick commercial break, and we'll come back and do some more tech news. We'll be right back with you on Live Speak with Justin the Geek.
Need a do-it-yourself with your website? Let the gurus at thedigitalcraft.com teach you how to build, design, and maintain your website at an affordable price. They offer private training on web programming, graphic and web design, video production, motion graphics, and expert consulting. Book your session today on Facebook at facebook.com/thedigitcraft and check out free tutorials at youtube.com/thedigitcraft or take our courses on udemy.com. Thedigitalcraft.com, your web and design gurus. Do you like the sound of my commercials? Do you want a commercial? Do you want to play it on your show? Then head over to Mike Wagner at Fiverr.com. Get yours produced now. www.fiverr.com/mwagner. Get fast, friendly, professional commercials at an affordable price. You provide the script, or we will write one for you. Tell us what special effects you need, or we can add them out for you. Check out our features to make your commercial sound great. Go to www.fiverr.com/mwagner and get your commercial done today. www.fiverr.com/mwagner. Also affiliated with www.mikewagnervoiceover.com.
Justin the Geek. Break it up, break it up, break it up. On the ones and twos.
Welcome back, everybody, to Live Speak. We were talking before the break a little bit of tech news with Facebook. I wanted to move on to an announcement that I've been waiting to hear and read for the longest time now, because I am a Firefox fan. I know there's a lot of people out there that like Google Chrome. I have used Firefox forever, and Firefox now has an operating system, a mobile operating system for the phones, for a Keon, I think the name of the phone is, right, Alan?
Yeah, I think that's the name of it.
Yeah, it's not officially out yet. This OS is out for developers right now, so they can figure out how to develop apps for this OS. That way, you don't want to put you don't want to pull a Microsoft and put out your mobile OS and only have 100 apps, because that's what Microsoft did. You want to have a whole lot of apps ready when you finally release this. I don't know how I feel about having a complete OS. They're just going to go and get rid of Android. It's going to be Firefox OS. It won't be like the Facebook Home. It's going to be actually its own thing. It won't just be over top of Android. It won't be over top of, iOS, the Apple. It's Firefox. So I don't know how I feel about it. I'm just glad to hear that they're actually doing something other than the browser, because I'm a Firefox fan.
Yeah, I mean, from what I've read, they're not necessarily trying to compete with Android or iOS, because really, I mean, Microsoft's already showing that that's a tough thing to do in the mobile market. Mm-hmm. But one thing they have going for them is the ease of making or developing apps for them, which are focusing more on HTML and JavaScript rather than Java and the other native like Objective-C.
Oh yeah,
iOS, things like that. Any of us web developers can just hop in there and start making apps. And I think they're going to be a little more laxed, if you can be, but a little more laxed than even Google with their Android Play market.
That should be nice.
But
I don't know. We'll see what happens with them. Like you said, it's a tough market to get into. And I mean, if Microsoft is struggling and they have the amount of $1 billion company, it's going to be tough for Firefox, because they're not exactly super billionaires there. But I'm just excited that they're doing something finally. I like Firefox. It's my favorite. I've always used it, but that's good.
Yeah, like we said, we were talking before the show. Like, there's other platforms coming out. There's like 3 main ones. I can't remember the name. It's Jala or Sailfish. It looks like.
Oh yeah, Sailfish.
And then Ubuntu Mobile, which Ubuntu Mobile, from everything I've read, is going to be pretty interesting, because unlike all these other mobile OSs, it's supposed to be a full version of Ubuntu. So anything you could run on Ubuntu, you could run with the phone.
That's
so
going to be
if you
incredible.
have Photoshop for Linux, you should be able to open photo. I mean, assuming your phone can handle it, but
Right.
there's not going to be any of this limitation blocking you out. I forget what the right term is for it. Something like walled garden or something like that, where you can only do certain things on there. So Ubuntu Mobile should be interesting. Whether it's going to actually get big, I don't know. But
Right.
Ubuntu's never really had to get big. So,
Yeah, they're just kind of there for the people that know how to use it right now.
right. So it should be interesting to see what happens in this next kind of year. I think Firefox is still about a year out before they're going to release.
Yeah, that's what I was reading too. Still a ways to go, and that's smart. They're not going to, like I said, they're not going to pull a Microsoft and just push something out and hope people like it and then force them to like it.
Right.
But speaking of Microsoft, did you read this? I'm sure you did too. The story, Windows' little desperate act to get people to switch using using an app in Google Play. It's an actual app, in the app description in the Google Play Store. The description reads, "Are you thinking about switching to Windows Phone and want a convenient way to migrate your app experiences over? Look no further. Windows Phone has an app for that." And they actually are promoting in the Google Play Store an app that will tell you if your phone is compatible, and it'll give you a full list of apps that are compatible with your to be Windows Phone equivalent. Did I understand that right? It's basically like to check to make sure your phone can handle the Windows Mobile.
Yeah, I didn't actually read the article. You did.
Yeah,
But
I mean,
if that's the truth, I mean, that I laughed at it at first, but I mean, that is kind of, can you actually do that? Can I actually take my Android phone here and if it says so, I can actually put Windows Mobile on it?
That's
or
what
whatever
see,
it's called
I
now?
didn't know that was possible. I didn't know
don't
you
think
could
it
actually
is.
do that. So I'm not sure what they're trying to. I guess they're trying to. I don't know. Why would you put something up there if you can't do that, though? It's really strange. I don't know. It's just funny to me that they're that desperate that they're putting an app into the Google Play Store. And even funnier is that Google they approved it.
Like I said, they've got a pretty relaxed. They're probably laughing over there too.
That's what I'm saying. They probably looked at it and like, we could probably not approve this, but let's approve it. Why not? Oh man, or Microsoft, they're just way behind.
I'm sure iOS didn't approve one though.
Yeah, that's for sure. They're very stingy with theirs, man. Yeah, but that's funny. Microsoft, they were back in the day very, very, very popular and one of the biggest startups and everything, but now they're just kind of going downhill. There's another great article about tech startups, and these are specifically tech startups that turn down the $100 million buyout offers. And there's a couple examples here. There's four of them that turned down $100 million offers. One was called Vidi, and that's a video app. They walked away from a $100 million offer, and then they lost all of their traction. And since then, Vidi's laid off half its staff, and the CEO has been fired. So they went downhill real quick. Foursquare, I know a lot of people have heard of Foursquare, and Foursquare actually had the option to sell for more than $100 million it passed. That was probably a smart move on their part because they are actually pretty popular and are moving on. Quickie, it's QWIKI, Quickie. Google actually offered to buy Quickie for more than $100 million, but the CEO, Doug Imbruce, turned it down. And now it's on its third pivot, so they're not doing good either. It's like, why do they turn down this money? And that's what this article is about. Why would you turn down $100 million?
Yeah, well, then I see Path is right under that, and I just read an article about Path. They just Google just, I think it was Google, Facebook just banned.
Facebook
banned kind of connections, like linking friends and stuff like that with them because of a big hacking situation going on. So they're one that's probably going to drop out. 'Cause I don't understand why people would want to use Path. It seems like another Facebook with some different goodies in it, but it's basically the same thing.
Yeah.
And with Facebook shutting them out, which I think just happened today, if not yesterday, that $100 million offer might have been a good idea. And like, if somebody offered me $1 million for something, I still don't know if I'd turn it down, but that's low. You know, that's showing, you know, maybe they're trying to lowball me. But $100 million, unless I have $100 million and I'm just going, whatever, you know, I think I'd take it and come up with a new idea.
Right.
Or 100 of them.
Or 100, yeah. And I mean, mainly what this article talks about is that most of these startups, they turn it down because of the idea that they're going to hit, you know, billions, and they're going to just keep going and going and going. And that's a hard thing to decide. $100 million is a lot of money. And they even say in here, and they quote one of the owners said, "You'd never hear a Silicon Valley startup talk about selling for $50 million. But $100 million, maybe." And it says, you know, the odds are completely against them, that most startups fail. I mean, it's 75% of startups fail. Yet, the founders of these startups, against all laws of probability, they cling to the anecdotes in which founders hold out for that epic, like, jackpot offer. And sometimes, I agree, it's smart to hang on. Like Groupon, for instance, was offered $6 billion by Google. They turned it down and went public. But its founder, Andrew Mason, is gone now, and the company might eventually wish they had taken that $6 billion offer. That, to me, $6 billion is a good chunk. Go ahead. You can have it. You can do what you want with it. I just made $6 billion. Are you kidding me? And then, you know, there's places like Pinterest. Now, in terms of the money, Pinterest has not succeeded yet. Its growth hasn't slowed by any means, but it's on its way to being an image-based shopping engine. And they have no billion-dollar acquisition offers have been made, well, publicly anyway. But Google is rumored to be interested in buying them for a few $100 million. So I wonder if they'll take that. And they say, investors say that Pinterest is worth, you know, multiple billions. So I doubt they'll take that. And of course,
yeah, I think.
You go ahead.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, and I think that's right.
Did a sass today. But I mean, like, you know, things like Pinterest, like, they're probably not going to get bigger than Google, for one, and I don't know. I just think some of these companies would actually thrive. I mean, even though it doesn't matter to them once they've sold out, but I think this technology would do better in hands of like Google and so forth. And still, I just say take that money and go do another thing. You know,
I agree.
Start another and sell another one for $100 million.
Yeah, go invest in something.
But like Facebook, you know, when they bought, Instagram?
Instagram. Oh yeah.
I don't think Instagram was going to make anything, you know, by itself. Facebook taking it and them taking that offer, I think was brilliant.
Yeah, that's genius. To let them do the work, let them do the promoting, and just kind of ride the wave.
Yeah, I mean, and you know, my wife and I were just talking today about Foursquare. She didn't know what it was, and I'd kind of forgotten what it was because I really didn't care. Mm-hmm. And then we were reminded that it's kind of a check-in thing. And she's like, "Well, you know, I do that on Facebook already." And I said, "Well, yes, we do. So
right.
Uninstall."
Right. Yeah, exactly. So I no longer need Foursquare. And some people do hang on to those sort of things. They're the original people that have gotten it and still like to use it. More power to them. But Facebook seems to be doing that too, putting a lot of different things into Facebook and buying other companies to use their stuff. But I mean, it's just there's different founders and things. This talks about an entrepreneur from OMG Pop. He knew when to walk away. His name is Dan Porter, and he was the CEO of OMG Pop, and it was acquired by Zynga. You've heard of Zynga, right? Mm-hmm. For $200 million. Now, he decided to sell the company after confiding in 10 friends and asking for their opinions. So he thought about it and talked to people. And then he was thinking that all of his friends would think he was just giving up if he sold his company. But to his surprise, all of his friends told him to sell. I don't think that's giving up. You just
I think in that
zero.
situation, usually the only person who's going to say, no, don't sell it yourself.
Yeah, exactly. Because everybody else sees that you just got $100 million. However you look at it, there's $100 million. You might have a $5 bill in your wallet, $100 million coming your way. Just say yes. That's simple.
A lot of money to invest in another idea, or quit.
Or quit and just retire and, put it in stocks if you have to. But that's cool with me. I mean, that's like the American dream, and that's what a lot of the .com is all about, is like start something, get big enough, sell it for an amount. But people are really greedy, and they want 101 million versus 100 million, or 6 billion versus 3 billion. And Instagram,
I mean, unless you have more than 100 million invested in it or anywhere near that, then I don't understand why you wouldn't walk away.
I don't either.
And if you have 100 million invested in something like that, then you probably invested too much and it's not working, so you might as well back off too.
Yeah, exactly.
Pay your bills and move on.
Right. I don't know. I know there's the instance of like Microsoft and how the original idea of Microsoft Windows was written by somebody, an employee at Xerox. They actually sold that code to Bill Gates and Microsoft for, at the time, I think it was a million. I can't remember if it was $1 million or $1 billion, but he sold it for one of those. I'm pretty sure it was just $1 million. So to that guy back in, this is 1985 we're talking about, when Windows 1.0 came out. And that guy got $1 million from, he was working at Xerox. He was offered $1 million. He could have held out, but he didn't have the business sense like Bill Gates to push it any further. So he did the right move in just selling it, let Microsoft do their thing. He got $1 million, probably turned around, bought stock in Microsoft if he was smart. And
well, I think the same situation happened with DOS too.
Yeah.
Bill Gates bought that, I think, for $50,000.
Yeah, and at the time, see, that would be a lot of money.
And the guy wasn't doing much with it. I mean, he knew he had something, but I mean, $50,000, of course, back then was a lot more money.
Right. But if you don't have the vision and you don't have the resources to push it further and build it huge, take some money, let somebody else do it. That's just my thing with the entrepreneurs thing, and a big thing that's starting to happen with entrepreneurs is mainly, I would say, mainly employers. I'm not going to say entrepreneurs, but employers are looking for there's programming skills. We talked about that the other day, about how you want to be able to kind of do everything nowadays. And I came across this article about programming. And there's 15 programming skills that are most coveted by employers. And I want to talk about this because our guest today, Justin Mitchell, is actually a programmer. His course is on Python and then the Django framework. So I wanted to look in this list and see where these things lined up. Now, I'm not saying one's better than the other. This is just a list that they came up with over at readwrite.com. I'm not going to say it's perfect, but the number one most important programming language that employers want to see is SQL. That is the number one programming language that people want you to have, because SQL is databases, and databases are very important.
What's great about SQL is that it basically, once you know SQL in some form or another, you can pretty much figure out all other forms of SQL.
Right.
MS SQL, MySQL, and so on and so forth. So that is a really good skill to have.
Yeah, and it
what
says
I find
there's currently 98,000 SQL jobs indexed by Indeed.com. That's a lot of jobs. 98,000. And they're, when you get a programming job like that and you're specialized, they're not cheap jobs either. That you get paid pretty well for that stuff. So
what I find interesting is when I look at job opportunities, it's a lot of times I don't think that the people who are writing this have any idea what they're asking. They're looking for, say, a web designer and must or should have experience in C, C#, Perl, Python, C++, JavaScript, HTML,
right.
Java, and they're going to offer you like $10 an hour.
Yeah.
It's an internship.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I've seen that all the time in job things, and I'm like, really? You want 5 years experience and you're $10 an hour? Okay. It's crazy. I don't know what they expect.
I don't think any college teaches all those in one package either.
No, you have to. That's the hard thing about programming, and we'll talk to Justin Mitchell about this and see why he chose what he chose. But it's like you kind of have to pick one, and then you can do a bunch of them. A lot of them kind of work together. Once you know the HTML and CSS, you can do some Python and PHP, and they kind of all work in together. But some of them, like SQL, you just have to learn that. That's SQL. You just got to learn it. But the last one, and surprisingly, because I've been hearing a whole lot about this programming language, is the number 15 was Ruby. And I've been hearing a lot about Ruby. Ruby on Rails, the web development framework, Ruby on Rails. And it says it's almost 20 years old. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's been around for a while. I don't think it really got popular until this last decade, and even more so towards the end of the decade. But I still have absolutely no interest in doing anything in Ruby. However, that is definitely a skill on a lot of job requirements. Ruby shows up there, or at least preferred to have knowledge in Ruby. I'm comfortable with what it's not knock Ruby. I've seen some really good things done with Ruby.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And I mean, there's, I'm sure there's a lot of really popular things out there that are done with Ruby. I can't think of any off the top of my head. But like I said, it comes down to what you pick and what you're comfortable with. And looking at what Justin Mitchell does and what his course is about is Python. Now, that's number 10 on the list. Now, I'm not saying that is bad. That is number 10. There's currently, it says 19,455 jobs listed on Indeed. That's a lot of jobs. So go ahead, learn it. Why not?
Yeah, Python's a pretty sought after language.
Yeah. I see a lot about that, and why not learn it? I say we go to a music break and then come back, and we'll bring Justin Mitchell on, and we can talk about Python. Sound good to you?
That sounds like a plan.
Well, good, because I don't care what you think anymore. So we'll be right back with Justin Mitchell on Live Speak with Justin the Geek.
Move faster, come closer, it whispers into your ear. You're calling, I'm chasing, I see your face disappear. Where did you go? Your strength is weak and now you're reaching, still you're losing control. Your eyes are speaking all the secrets that you thought you could hold. Thought you could hold. The fight is there, but you can't grab air. Oh no. When you're caught in the undertow, it wasn't fair, but the rocks don't care. Caught in the undertow. Oh, You're sinking, you're slipping, your tears are filling the dirt. I'm reaching, I'm missing, I won't succumb to the hurt. Time is nearing, disappearing, will I see you again? Windows closing, tides are flowing, all the same in the end. The fight is there, but you can't grab air, oh no. When you're caught in the undertow, it wasn't fair, but the rocks don't care, oh no. When you're caught in the coming for a long time. I tried to fight it, but I'm wearing down. Gave what I was willing, it was all mine. I didn't know that I was giving my crown. I can feel this coming for a long time. I tried to fight it, but I'm wearing down. I gave what I was willing, it was all mine. But now the undertow is pulling me down. Oh, 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 pulling me down. Ooh, oh, pulling me down.
Warning, this show can be freaky. Justin the Geek. Whoa! Your favorite DJ. You've been warned.
All right, welcome back, everybody. That song was Undertow by the band Major Parade. My friend Ty Weathers produces for them. You can check his beats out at ittybittybeats.com. Again, I want to let everybody know that we will have Francesco Baschieri on here. He's the CEO and co-founder of Spreaker.com. He'll be on here hopefully May 19th. Once I get that confirmed, I'll let you know. But right now, we have a different guest. Our guest today is Justin Mitchell. He is a programmer and an entrepreneur. How are you doing, Justin?
I'm doing great. Thanks a lot, Justin. I like to call this show the Attack of the Justins.
Yeah.
Alan.
Yep. Twice the Justins, twice the fun.
Yeah.
So I want to quickly, I want to show, or not show everybody, but I want to tell people what they're going to get if they sign up for your class. And because it's astounding to me, because it's the price, for one, is phenomenal. It's $49. And Justin has been nice enough to give my listeners a discount of $19 off. So you can get his course for $30, which for what you get is amazing. And the coupon code I'll put on the show notes afterwards and my website. But the coupon code is Geek Creations. Geek Creation, no S. Is that right, Justin? No S on it?
Yeah, I think there's no S, so I can always double check that and make sure that you have the right code.
Yeah, we'll double check.
There is a limit. There's only 300, so if people want it, they're going to have to jump on it.
Okay, yeah, so go and get it before anybody else, and I'll put the actual code on the website in the show notes afterwards. But for that $30, you're getting over 82 lectures and 7 hours of content. Now, we were talking in the break, and his course actually started out at like 4 hours, and he's been adding to it. So, and that's one of the things about Udemy that we love is once you join something, it's lifetime access. So if he ends up making it 15 hours of content and you paid $30, you have 15 hours of content for $30, even if he raises the price and you're already a part of it. So go sign up. It's phenomenal. He also, you get to learn the Python programming language, which now explain to us non-programmer, us regular folk, let's call it, what exactly is Python? Because when most people hear about programming, they think like super nerdy people in cubicles making video games. So, so what is Python?
Yeah, so when you want to automate tasks, you use programming languages. So let's say, for instance, you want to send me a message. That has to use programming to send me a message. So it's automating it in the sense that it's using ones and zeros, basically, when you break it down very far. It's using ones and zeros to send me a little message. Now, Python is just one type of programming language that helps automate tasks by using computers. So computers, as many people probably know, are very fast at doing things. Mm-hmm. Computers are actually very dumb, though. Computers by themselves, without software, are useless.
Right.
So software programming is software, allows the computer to actually do things for you, and over time, they've just gotten more powerful and can do more things in less time.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, so in Python itself is just one of many programming languages there are. I just happen to really like it because I think it's so good for beginners to use Python because it resembles the English language the most, more than any other programming language. At least that's my opinion.
Yeah, and Alan, do you agree with that too? With how it's kind of close to English language? I was looking at it, and it does seem like it would be easier to learn if you don't know any programming.
Yeah, it's definitely much easier to read. It is written more like plain English. Even getting rid of some of the things that I'm used to in like PHP, like curly brackets and things like that, in place of, I believe, just spacing, right, or indenting.
Yeah, it's just indenting. You get rid of curly brackets. A lot of those special characters you don't actually use that much. Instead, you use spacing and colons. I mean, some colons, but it's really not as much as PHP or JavaScript or something like that.
Oh, okay.
Right.
So then I read about your bio, and you mentioned if you had a failed project that made you start learning Python. And I've been curious since I started talking to you. I don't know what it is, but can you tell us what this failed project was? Do you mind sharing that?
Of course, yeah. Actually, I'll tell you the whole story of it.
Okay.
It's a failure in the sense of a business. It's a success in the sense of what I learned from it. So out of college, I went to the University of Southern California. I had this idea. I'm like, hey, how about I help restaurants find and hire their service staff online and use it in the way of compatibility matching. So taking the idea of how like people find dates and stuff online, just do that, but for finding jobs, just making matches through common interests or common abilities or whatever for something like a restaurant, which is relatively simple because a restaurant, they're very much a team and you don't have to have high special qualifications. You just kind of have to like the people you work with. That makes the team work a little bit better, like any team, like a basketball team or something like that. So anyways, I had this idea and I knew a little HTML and CSS, so I decided I was going to test out this idea. I called the company servicehands.com. It kind of made sense for the service industry, service hands. It made sense. So I knew some HTML, CSS. I decided to make a little simple landing page. Hey, we'll help you get a job for free. I threw it on Craigslist because that still is a big place of where people find restaurant jobs, and I got like 1,500 people signing up the first day. It was free, wow. So it was a little different, but it was exciting results, right?
Wow, yeah.
Yeah, but the challenge I had was, okay, I don't know how to program. I know some HTML and CSS. I know that I need programming. And you guys were talking earlier about, how do you, like how a lot of job listings say all these different programming languages and we're going to pay you $10 an hour. Like, I had that same problem. And this was quite a few years ago now, but I had that same problem. So I didn't really know what I was looking for, number one. As an entrepreneur, as somebody starting out, you don't always know what coding language you need, but you do need to kind of find somebody that does. I was lucky. I pitched the idea to a group of entrepreneurs. I was lucky that there was a programmer in the audience who actually wanted to work with me because he liked the idea. He thought it had a lot of traction and so on and so forth. So we decided to work together. We built this site over 4 or 5 months using PHP, which is a popular programming language. I really wanted to push for PHP because Facebook uses PHP, WordPress uses PHP. Some of these other sites use PHP so much, so I was really pushing for it. We built it out, took about 6 months, and then we were even featured on CNN. Things seemed to be going like through the roof. We were super excited, and what we realized was we did not have a business. We had a hobby. We could not turn it into making money. And when you have a partner who needs Visa sponsorship, it makes it a little challenging.
Yeah.
So,
oh, man.
So we had about 10,000 people signed up for the site, but most of those people were job seekers. They were not managers hiring and looking actively to hire people from the site. So we had a problem. We had a few problems. One of them was we were trying to introduce technology to an industry that just really didn't care. They just didn't care. That was the first problem. And then the second problem was trying to value it for a group of people that don't care, don't really need it, or don't think that they really need it. And, so the business kind of crumbled. My partner had to get a job, which I completely understand. He had to get a job. He started working at another startup that was funded. We weren't funded, and so on and so forth. So it kind of left it into a stale place. Now, this is the moment where I was like, either I'm going to learn how to do it myself, or I'm going to have to try and hire somebody else or convince somebody else or give away more equity or whatever to build this site out. And my partner introduced me to a friend of his who knew Python and Django really well. And after trying out every programming language there is, I finally started working through Python and Django, and it just really started clicking. I tried Ruby on Rails. I tried PHP. It just really wasn't clicking with me because it was so much different than what I was used to. So once I got into Python and Django and some help with the Django tutorial and some other guys in the Django community, I really started, just ramping up my skills. And as a result, I also learned more about JavaScript, more about jQuery, more about SQL, all these other things after I was really starting to click with Python and Django. So the failure was launching a business straight out of college, like I dreamed, and the success of it is that I learned I learned a lot about business too, but also Python and Django. So
well, that's good. It's like they say that most innovation comes out of necessity.
Yeah,
and that's kind of a good success story. Like you said, they may have failed on the business side of it because of certain circumstances, but you ended up learning a programming language that now will help you succeed and excel.
Absolutely.
Learning it your own. That's awesome. So, okay. So now you learned the Python. And I'm curious because your course is about, coding for entrepreneurs. So, what are some examples of how this programming can be used by an entrepreneur? Because like I said, most people just think programming is for, super nerds that do video games.
Yeah, first and foremost, I don't really cover much theory of Python or programming. This is something that I really wanted to move away from because I find that covering theory a lot of times will have your eyes glaze over and it's not really actionable. So what I wanted to do was get them into it right away. Build some momentum. Just like in a business, you need to build some momentum in the right direction. So that's what Coding Entrepreneurs is all about. We don't go too much into the theory because there's so many resources that you can get online to get the theory and read more if you want. Where ours is really just jumping in so we can launch a project as soon as we possibly can, because I feel like most business people want that. And there's the other side is, Alan, I think you hit on it earlier, is that if you know one programming language, that's what you need to do. You need to start somewhere. And if you start with Django and Python, it really can help you kind of grow into the next things. And I just show people along the way on how to do that.
Well, that's sweet. That's really good.
Very cool.
Yeah. Let's go to a quick commercial break here, and we'll come back and we'll talk with you, because I'm really curious to find out how you managed to get 1,400 people to subscribe to this course. I mean, I understand it's a fantastic course, but that's incredible to me. So we'll be right back on Live Speak with Justin Mitchell.
Getting an amazing education is a must, but going to classes and listening to boring teachers can be very painful and expensive. Luckily, we have the internet, but it is so hard to find courses that are high quality, cheap, and easily accessible. Not anymore, thanks to Udemy. Udemy is the online academy for you. At Udemy, you can find hundreds of great courses from world-class instructors. You can learn stuff like how to create awesome demo videos cheaply, how to program in Python, Ruby, or HTML, how to start your own company, even how to wiggle your feet to the rhythm of salsa. But what if you want to teach others what you know? No problem. Udemy makes it super easy to create your own course in a few steps. Just create an account for free, give your course a name, upload all your content in any format, video, audio, PowerPoint, Word, PDF, publish it, and voila! It's now accessible to anyone, at any time, all over the world. You can even set a price for your course so you can make some money. Learn anything, teach anything at Udemy, the Academy of You.
It's Justin, the Geek. Are you ready to rock? Ladies, make some noise.
Okay, welcome back, everybody, to Live Speak with Justin the Geek. We're here with Justin Mitchell from codingforentrepreneurs.com. We were talking before the break a little bit about what Python was, a little bit more about his failed project that led to learning Python, and then we were talking about also what exactly programming could do for entrepreneurs and how it related to his course. Now, we had talked earlier about the perception of programming. And what it is, and you mentioned you wanted to touch a little bit on that, Justin, how people see programming.
Yeah, of course. So the perception of programming, that it is a very difficult thing to learn and to go through, and I partially agree that it is not easy, but where I don't agree is that you don't necessarily need it. Right? Where this is something that I've heard from a lot of business types where it's like, no, I'll just hire a programmer. I have the funds for it. I'll just hire a programmer, or I'll outsource it to a guy overseas.
Oh, yeah.
Right? That happens a lot. So where I would love to differ is the idea of linear and nonlinear thinking. So linear thinking is sequential, so step by step. So in the morning, you put your shirt on, you put your jeans on, or whatever. Like, you do it in a certain order. And then nonlinear thinking is like creative problem solving and or drawing like a painting or something like that. So when it comes to incentives, linear thinking actually helps incentives. So if I was going to pay you $20 a day, if you could get dressed in 3 seconds or less, I would guess in a matter of 10 days or so, you would probably figure out how to do that.
Right.
No problem, right? So, and then when we switch to nonlinear thinking, if I told you that you had to paint the same painting every day in a matter of an hour, and I'll pay you $100 extra every day. So let's say the first day you paint it, I give you $100. The second day you try and paint it the same, I'll give you $200, right? So keep growing by $100.
Mm-hmm.
The nonlinear part, you will get so frustrated and stop. You will quit. Performance will go down. You won't be able to complete in an hour. And basically, there's a lot of details on how this is true. Now, I think the perception of learning programming is very much about that nonlinear thinking. Now, I can show you step by step of what you need to do to implement my project because I'm the one doing the nonlinear thinking. I'm thinking through the problems that are going to happen, and I'm solving them for you. So a lot of anyone trying to learn programming is going to get stuck with, oh, how do I apply this concept to my project? And that's where you need to work through the pain and ignore what possible incentives will be coming your way. So if you think that there's some big pot of gold waiting for you because you learned programming, I highly shy away from that line of thought, because it's just you're gonna get, when you get stuck and you're like, oh man, but I want that $120,000 a year job, but I can't get through this one part. You know what? I'll just stick to whatever job I'm doing right now. You know?
Oh, that's an interesting way of thinking. I like that,
so,
because you do. Yeah, you put that kind of stress on you of you just want to get into it and get the money and everything like that.
Right. So what incentives do is they narrow your thinking. Right. If you want to know more about this stuff, read a book by Dan Pink called Drive. But basically, incentives narrow your thinking. So when it's linear, when there's steps involved, incentives narrow your thinking so you can get it done faster. So think of the manufacturing line mentality, right? Well, when you pay people better, they can do their job better. Now, when you go into something like programming, there's so many aspects of it that are linear, and then there's so many aspects that are nonlinear. When you narrow their thinking to linear, you have so many problems, or when you narrow the thinking by incentives, you have so many problems when it comes to stepping outside the box and creating something new. Xerox is a fantastic example of this many times over, not just with the Microsoft story that you talked about before, but also with Kinko's. If people are familiar with that story of Kinko's, I was fortunate enough to take a class with the founder of Kinko's. Kinko's is now, of course, FedEx Office. Right. But I took a class with the founder of Kinko's, and he was telling me a story about when he started it. He ran into he was the proclaimed D student, so he wasn't a textbook type guy, but he was known for running into a copy center because he did all the copies for his groups and stuff like that. He ran into a copy center at USC, and he saw everyone running around frantic, right? Everyone was in that linear, hey, I need to get this stuff done as soon as possible so I can get a good grade and then get a job and then all that. Where Paul Orfalea walks in there and goes, wow, there's something to this. People are running around crazy. And he was lucky enough to know that these students in UC Santa Barbara did not have a copy center. So he took that nonlinear thought and decided to build it over in UC Santa Barbara, build the first Kinko's, and then kind of grow it from there, which is crazy to think that most people are stuck in this linear mindset. And if you're willing to accept that and take a step back and then try and cultivate a stronger nonlinear mindset, it will be all the benefit for you. And I think programming does that to a big degree.
Yeah, I have to agree with you. I mean, it definitely changes the way you think about things and how you see things. I mean, I'm not a huge programmer, but the little bit that I know and the little bit of JavaScript that I'm learning, the PHP I'm learning from Alan, you definitely learn a different way of thinking, because the only way you can learn programming is to think differently and think in that programming, language, basically. So,
that's what I love the most about it is the problem solving, the taking what I've already learned and figuring out how to make something that doesn't exist, or in a way that I'm going to figure out how to do it anyways.
Absolutely. Right. And if you're stuck in this perception that it's so hard or that you can't do it, then you'll never get past any hurdles.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I run into this a lot when I'm teaching. I'd say about 50% of the students I have, they come to me with an idea, some grand idea, which a lot of them are very good ideas. And their first question to me before we even start learning is, do you think I should even learn this? And I'd say, well, of course you should. Right. They say, well, I could just hire someone to do it, or like you said, overseas, which I'm sure both of us know that's never usually a good idea. Yeah. And they have that question in the beginning, and then I stray them away from that, and then things start getting a little more tough, a few sessions in, and they start thinking that way again. And I if you're going to build a business, especially a business that's based online, or the core of your business has something to do with programming, it's like opening an auto shop and having no idea how a car works. Right. Especially if you're going to manage it, like how good of a job are you going to do if you don't even know how it works from the inside out? You don't necessarily need to be, a master mechanic, but you do need to know how your business runs, and that is, or how it, what the core of it is. And I generally can get everybody, back on track and ready to keep learning because of that. They don't, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely, I totally agree. And it's like those three hats that Michael Gerber talks about, right? One of them's a technician, one of them's like owner or entrepreneur, and then like the accountant / manager. Mm-hmm. those all combine. So the technician's the guy who actually, makes the product and refines it. Let's say if you're a baker, you're the technician for that business. You have these 3 different hats. You have the baker or the technician, right? So in your case, it's the auto mechanic. And then you have another hat, which is the manager, making sure people do their job today and they do it well. And then you also worry about yesterday, make sure those customers are happy and your books are good and all that. And then you have the owner, which is the third hat, which is really the entrepreneur, the person who's out there selling the business, going on talk shows, going on podcasts, and doing all that stuff to build more things to drive to the business.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah.
So that kind of leads me to what has made me so curious with you, and it has blown my mind, and I'm sure a lot of other people, is that you managed in just 24 hours of launching your course, Coding for Entrepreneurs, you managed to get over 1,400 people to sign up. Now,
Justin, I'm going to have to cut you off. Sorry, I wish I caught this earlier. It was actually 1,100.
It was, that's fine.
It was 1,100 in 24 hours, but 1,400 came, maybe 4 or 5 hours after that. But anyways.
But still, I mean, that's...
Oh, never mind. We don't want to know them.
Yeah, then in that case, you're just not worth you're not worth anything.
End right now.
Let's go end broadcast. Okay.
Yeah.
But even then, I mean, I have struggled. My course has been out since December, and I am struggling. I have like 250. And,
okay.
And I have been pushing it every avenue that I know how. And the problem with mine is people just don't want to do it, basically. It's computer work, it's computer repair. It's easier to just take it somewhere and get it done. I understand that. So I've kind of given up on promoting it. But I'm still fascinated that you are able to just massively produce, over 1,000 subscribers in less than a day. So, I mean, can you give us some insights and some tips and tricks of how you managed to promote it? I mean, did you just go and destroy social media and blast it all over the place, or was it a strategic setup? Did you plan a couple weeks in advance, to launch it, or what?
So there's a few things. We have what Seth Godin calls the lizard brain that's holding us back from doing things. I very much had that problem with this class. Now, I wanted to do it a year and a half ago, probably. I was like, oh, man, I've been doing so well with programming. Like, I really want to teach other people. And I just kind of put it off.
Right. Yeah, I know that feeling.
And I put it off. Right. So then finally, I was like, you know what? Why don't I have a little class at my local community and just have a little web design class and see if I actually like teaching this type of material. So I did a little web design class. I had really good feedback from the people that went. There was about 10 people there, so it wasn't like it was huge.
Now, this was like a continuing education or community ed class, not like a college course or...
Actually, my community, it was not a college course. It was my community, like where I live, has like a little community room center, and then they have a community director that reaches out to all the tenants and stuff.
Oh, okay.
Basically, I just talked to them, and they said, hey, yeah, by all means, if you're going to give away, I did a free class. If you're going to give away a free class, sure, you can teach people, and if you get more people, then we'll do it again.
Cool.
So I did that, and it was kind of a nice little injection of like excitement around the idea of teaching. But I do know that teaching online is probably much better, but still I had that lizard brain chiming in saying like, oh no, like, you're not done yet. You need to make it better and all that. So one of my students from that class actually said, hey, like I can't make it to this upcoming event that you were going to do because I was kind of planning on doing continuing classes. And I'm like, oh, no worries. He's like, can you make a video of some of the stuff that you're going to do? And I'm like, okay, sure. And I started making a video, and I started making more videos like I originally wanted. And then I threw them up on Udemy as a free class for website design for entrepreneurs. So this was actually my first class.
Okay.
I did zero promoting for it. And I sent the link over to a few of my local classmates here, or students, I should say. And they signed up, and, it organically kind of grew. And I kept seeing these numbers coming in. Like, every other day I'd get like 3 people signing up for this class, and I'm not doing anything to promote it. I'm like, oh man, like I make an hour of free content, and I'm getting like up to like 300 or 400 people just signing up for it.
Wow.
So, but before I get into my current class, the point of it is that I found a need that people have, right? entrepreneurs know that they need to start or have their website or a web presence of some kind. They know that.
Right.
So if you are analyzing your business, you got to realize if somebody knows that they have this need or this problem, some of them will want to actually solve it themselves, right? So I was thinking a lot about this, and let's say, for instance, your class is going to be, how to do shoe repair or how to actually build your own shoes, either one.
Right.
You got to find the right market that actually would want to do that, right? And of course, this is the normal speak or whatever, but like basically, if I was going to launch that kind of class, first off, I would do how to make sandals in 2 hours on a Saturday. Like that would be my first class to just kind of test the market,
Right.
and hit up do-it-yourselfers, hit up blogs, hit up everything that's relative to that, and see if you can get any traction with your first initial free class. If you get some traction with it, then it should show you some validation, and then you move to the next phase, which would be launching your full class that you spend hours upon hours doing, and then you launch it in a way that works well for your audience. Now, I want to go back again to Coding for Entrepreneurs, though. Coding for Entrepreneurs almost was called Django Bootstrap.
Oh.
I almost called it Django Bootstrap, but now it niched myself way too much. It assumed that people knew what Django was, and it assumed that people also knew what Twitter Bootstrap was, because I do use both of them in my class.
Right.
Which was bad, right? Terrible. Okay, so I'm like, all right, maybe that's not the best idea, because website design for entrepreneurs is getting traction, and it hits a couple. It's very clear as to what it is, where Django Bootstrap's not that clear. So I decided, maybe I'll call it Programming for Entrepreneurs. Programming for Entrepreneurs is, the keyword itself is a little outdated. It's not it's not here as much as coding is, and I kind of wrestled between the two. It's like, well, Programming for Entrepreneurs, it's really kind of what that is, but I didn't want the association with programming, that like the gaming association or television for some reason, if that ever came in,
right,
or any of the other associations that you have with programming, where code, the association for that has been coming so strong around learning programming. And I was lucky enough that I think it was either Facebook or I actually don't even remember who launched it, but like Bill Gates and Mark Zuckerberg, they had this thing about why people should learn code. And that viral video hit maybe 2 weeks before I launched my class, or maybe a month.
Thanks, Bill Gates.
Yeah, so the timing was really good, and now I'm really riding off of that. So when it comes to actually marketing it and implementing it, a lot of the work was already done for me, because I picked Coding for Entrepreneurs. It's similar to like Tim Ferriss wrote the 4-Hour Workweek, and the way he tested that was similar how I did, was you go to your keyword selector tool on Google, and you kind of search all the different keywords that you're thinking about using, and see how competitive they are, and see if they're being searched a lot. Computer repair, I'm sure, is searched a lot, but it's a lot of times that's a type of thing where it's an amateur person who's just like, fix my computer. That's my initial feeling of it. You know, where an amateur person is going to walk into Best Buy and just kind of give them their computer. So whereas entrepreneurs or anyone that's looking to start a business really has to wear all the different hats. So the tidbit from this, it might be computer repair for entrepreneurs or for small business. Like that might actually work in your favor for your specific class, just because the title is different.
Right.
And that's where I would stress to you, is just changing around your title and trying that out. And maybe there will be a point where you're like, you know what, maybe just people don't want to take this class, or they don't want to learn this type of material, and then you just kind of have to move on and find something that people do.
Right. And that's kind of where I'm at now, because I believe it or not, I've actually gone through, and Alan knows this, I've gone through a lot of different titles for my course. Originally, it was called Speed Up Your Computer. And I've gone through a bunch, and I finally came down to it, and I made it Computer Repair for Beginners and Experts Alike. And that was the title that finally started selling. Now, it didn't sell a lot, but it finally started selling because I worded it better. And people actually said, okay, it's Computer Repair for Beginners. I can do that. and I dropped the price and things like that. So I've done a whole bunch of different naming, and I stuck with that one. But I do like what you're saying about it really does come down to how people read it, and that keyword selector tool, that's huge. A lot of people don't know about that. That's an incredible tool to use.
It's amazing. Use the Google keyword selector tool. You could literally search on Google keyword selector tool, and it's an AdWords thing, so it's for your advertising campaigns, but it works really well to try and figure out the right keywords to use, and it'll even suggest things for you.
Yeah.
So, and then basically, once I figured out, okay, I'm going to do coding for entrepreneurs, that's going to be it. I just kind of I wasn't really sure on how I was going to go about launching, because in the previous time I went to where I knew the audience goes. When I did my launch for Service Hands, I went to Craigslist because I knew there was a big audience of job seekers that go to Craigslist. I just knew that from research and just talking to people. So I had to go where the audience went. Now with this class, it was a little different. I had the audience is spread out. It goes to a lot of different places. Like Hacker News is one, Reddit was one, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn. Those were the initial 5 that I was like, okay, I'm going to go after those. Mm-hmm. And then Quora.com, that was another one. I'm like, okay, I'm going to go after those. And I just launched just a link to sign up. But there's one key point to this is that if you're looking to just sell, it's going to be harder for you to actually sell things on these social media sites because everyone's trying to sell something everywhere, right? Yeah. So you want to kind of get out of the way. One of the advice that I've ever got about management or managers is the best managers get out of the way and allow people to do their jobs, right? So in this case, I wanted to get out of the way, and I wanted to allow students to learn the material without any real barriers of doing that. So I did highly, highly discounted, up to 100% off, to get that initial buzz going and pushing in the right direction, because you really need that, so you can land interviews like this, or you get featured on Udemy's bestseller list and stuff like that within a week. So I wanted to get out of the way, and to do that, you just need to have these solid coupons. And again, it's about making sure that your keywords hit with the audience that you're going after, and then you find where that audience is.
Okay.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think to support that, it's very similar to what I did about 1.5 years ago when I started making my videos on YouTube before I started doing anything on Udemy. I was interested in making videos, and I did the same thing you did. I kind of waited a long time to do it, and finally I just did it. And so I started making this course on or kind of series on YouTube on building a website, and I was really stumped on what to label it, because I'm figuring I'm kind of stuck with this label. I should make it good. And I'm thinking, okay, how to build a website. There's a lot of those. Then I started thinking, all right, well, this is kind of like how to do it from scratch. So how about Scratch? And I thought, that's not good either. That sounds like a lot of work. And I finally went with building a website from start to finish. And that right there caught a lot of attention. I can do this, and I can have it done. I didn't tell you could have it done in 21 days like the books, anything like that. I just said, this is how to do it from the beginning to the end. That's it. And it just took off. A year later, I've got close to 2 million views. It's crazy. But I think it's all in the title. I don't think I would have gotten anywhere if I would have said from scratch or just how to build a website or anything like that. I think it was all in the title.
Oh, I totally agree.
Yeah.
I want to expand on that a little bit, but I want to run to a quick commercial break here and let the sponsors do their thing. So if you guys are okay with that, we'll just go to a quick commercial break.
Sounds good.
And then we'll be right back with Justin Mitchell here on Live Speak with Justin the Geek.
Your computer might be a little old.
It might be expensive.
And it might be a little slow.
But I have a secret to share with you. A secret the professionals do not want to tell you. You can fix your own computer.
Yes, you.
It's much easier than you'll ever believe. But don't take my word for it. See for yourself. Sign up for Justin's computer repair course on udemy.com called Speed Up Your Computer the Easy Way for just $19. Watch as he walks you through speeding up your computer and helping you to prevent future problems.
Don't be scared.
It's really simple. So simple, in fact, it's insulting that we've all had to spend our hard-earned money just to get our computers repaired. Just go to
www.geekcreations.com
and click online courses to get more information. Again, go to
www.geekcreations.com.
That's GEEKREATIONS.com and click online courses to get more information and great discounts. Don't wait. Fix it today
Before it breaks.
You're listening to Live Speak with Justin the Geek every Sunday at 2 p.m. He's bringing you amazing courses from great instructors
On Udemy.com.
lots of tech talk,
Phone calls.
and much more. Live every Sunday of every week. This is Live Speak.
Enjoy the show.
This is the one you've been waiting for.
Justin the Geek.
Check this out.
Fire.
Assume the position.
Mixing it up.
All right, welcome back, everybody, to Live Speak with Justin the Geek. Again, I'm here with Alan Quant from thedigitalcraft.com and Justin Mitchell for codingforentrepreneurs.com. I wanted to make a quick note for those that have been listening or are new listeners to the show that Alan Quant, actually from the Digital Craft, he gives private sessions. If you want to learn some PHP or if you want to learn HTML and CSS, pretty much any digital craft you can think of, he gives private lessons, and they're phenomenal for an hour.
Design.
Yeah,
video
graphic
editing.
design especially is, that's a really good one. A lot of people learn video editing. You can check it out. Go to thedigitalcraft.com. You can click on what is it? Is it private sessions?
I think that's what I have it labeled today.
Yeah. It might change tomorrow. Who knows? But you can see what he teaches on there. You can go through his videos and see things like that. But they are really phenomenal. I've talked with some of his students and stuff before, and they're very pleased with it. And like he said, if you have an idea and you just don't know how to do it, he can help you with that. So, again, head over to thedigitalcraft.com. He'll hook you up. Now, we were talking before the break about promoting and how, the steps that you take to get to launching and then promoting on all your social media sites. And I just wanted to let you continue telling of how you were able to do that.
Yeah. So, guys, I want to make it clear that there's only one thing that's not renewable, and that's time and attention. So two things, whatever. Time and attention are not renewable. Money is, right? So if you can capture people's time and attention, you will figure out how to build a business. I strongly agree with that mindset. And if you can get 1,000 people, I think that's the number that's been thrown around. If you can get 1,000 people to pay you $100 a year, meaning they trust you, they're fans, they love what you do. If you just get 1,000, you won't ever have to, quote unquote, work another day in your life because you'll be doing something that you're very passionate about. So that's a key thing too, is that just understanding you want to go for that 1,000 number. And I think that's achievable. It's definitely doable. And the way you do it is just start. Like you just take action
You got to do it
as soon as you can. Yeah. So if like let's say for instance we were arguing about where we're going to eat lunch, right?
Right.
Well, sooner or later we're going to make a decision and actually eat lunch. Maybe it's not the best decision, but it's still a decision. We decided, we went and ate lunch. Great, stomach's full.
Yeah, right. Hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully. Yeah, hopefully.
If you're paying.
Yeah. So if you do eat lunch, right? If you do to make that decision, you're gonna feel good, right?
Right.
It'll just feel good. But maybe like, you know what? We went to this restaurant, but I really wanted to go to that restaurant. Well, now you have the option to go to that restaurant because this restaurant didn't work out, right? So this is something that's very true about starting anything. So when you're coming to getting to the point of like, oh, okay, do I launch today? Do I need to make some cool announcement to all my friends and make sure they back me right away? Like, do I need to have some pre-announcement type thing? Do I need to email every single person on my email list, which I almost did? I wrote out this long email and I was like, hey guys, like I'm launching this class, like, and then I told them all the reasons and all the things I've gone through in the past couple of years and so on and so forth. And I decided not to send it.
Really?
No, I mean, it probably could have helped. There probably could have been people that I would have wanted to join or back me or whatever. But I thought about it. It's like, this is not really my target audience.
Oh, okay, yeah.
My friends and family, some of them might be my target audience, but they'll find out about it on Facebook after I post a few links on there, which I did not blow up Facebook. I probably posted maybe 10 times in the course of 2 days, which really isn't that much. It actually could have been more than that. It might have been 20. I don't even remember, but I know that I wasn't like emailing or messaging every single person I knew, hey, get on my class, blah, blah, blah. Like, I really did not want to come off that way, because I see that a lot with Kickstarter projects and all that, where it's like, hey, back it. And I really just wanted to hit the audience that I could, instead of just hitting up every single person that I knew.
Right.
So that is something that I think is key for you guys too, or anyone listening, is that, like, if you hit up every single person you knew, you might lose some of that trust or likeness of you, like, and you want to keep those things. Like, you don't really want to piss somebody off by kind of bugging them about what you're up to without, really having a conversation, just sending them something like more or less spam of what it is. And granted, if it's like your parents and your true fans that will always be your fans because they love you, that's not that big of a deal. You can bug them all you want, right? I do it all the time. But it's those connections that are like kind of somewhat weak, but they're friends. Maybe you went to college with them, maybe you went to high school with them, maybe you worked with them at one point. You don't really want to push them too much and put them in an awkward position, because it's not really about awkward. It's about promoting something that you think will help a group of community, and just really focus on that group. I guess that's kind of the point of that one.
Right. Well, and I have a question about that too. Take somebody for me, for instance, that I was out of, I'm not in the social game. I wasn't for the longest time. I didn't need it. Facebook was just there to talk to friends and things like that. I never used it for advertising. Then I got into Udemy, and I needed to advertise, and I needed to tell people about it. Now, what would you tell somebody like me? How could I find that group? How could I find the target audience? How would I define that for my course?
I think first and foremost, you need to get out of the building. I don't think you need to stand in front of a computer screen or sit in front of a computer screen and try and figure it out that way. I think a good option is actually a lot of swap meets or like fairgrounds and stuff like that, where they have these marketplaces. I'm pretty sure they're all throughout the country, where you can go for pretty cheap, maybe $50 or $100 or $200, and try and make connections with people there, and also get direct feedback from a person standing in front of you. Because with marketing online, you aren't talking with the person, and you also don't know why they didn't click sign up, download, whatever. You don't know why.
Right.
You just know that they didn't. In person, you can kind of feel it out a little bit more. You can ask more qualifying questions that come up on the spot that you can't get when you're trying to market online, because a lot of people just won't take the time to just say, hey, I'm not doing it because of this, and this. Like,
right. Yeah, and so, I found out, people don't take the time to do it if they don't have the time. I gave away my course for free, and people still wouldn't sign up for it. It's because they just didn't have the time, or they just didn't want to, which is fine, doesn't hurt my feelings. But I think in my situation, do you think that being in person and at swap meets would help? Because I'm selling a computer repair course, and if I'm out talking to people, most people could care less.
You're right. Most people could care less, but there's also those 10 people that come up and go, wow, this is the greatest thing I've ever seen.
Right.
And that just gives you all the adrenaline that you need. And when it comes to swap meets, I think that's the perfect audience for you, because a lot of them are coming for deals.
It's all low budget, yeah.
Yeah. So that might be the perfect avenue for you to start. And you already started, but to market in a different way, is because then you can just set up this little booth and have a sign that says, learn computer repair or something that goes along those lines. And you can talk to a lot of these people that are on a low budget, and depending on where you are in the world, like if you can convince them in person, they might tell a few of their other friends, hey, I took this class like online, is really good, and now all my computer problems are solved. You know, like.
Yeah, I think that's a lot more powerful sometimes than somebody sharing something, on Facebook, like, oh yeah, I did this, here, take a look. When you can actually meet somebody in person and they actually like it, and then they go in person and tell 10 other people why they liked it or why you should go check out this or that. It's way more powerful. I see this a lot in the music industry, like, or at least the local unsigned music industry. I get invites to go see bands play on a daily basis, probably 50 of them sometimes a day, or at least on the weekends.
Right.
I don't know who probably 99% of these bands are, and I probably don't care. But if I was sitting at the mall eating and somebody handed me a flyer for a show, come check out my band, like we used to do 10 years ago before the interwebs. That right there, it's more personal to me. I can discuss it with them. I can say, what do you guys play? Things like that. And it starts a rapport. And either way, it just shows some enthusiasm themselves and some effort themselves.
Right.
Whereas all these messages I'm getting, I'm just ignoring them. Unless I actually know who these people are. And most times I still ignore that. And getting yourself out there, like you said, going to conventions and things like that, it's kind of a legitimacy to what you're doing as well. Anybody can start a Facebook page and start promoting what they're doing or what they may not even be doing. That's how. That's what it is. People don't even know whether you're just some guy sitting in a basement who just started this thing 5 minutes ago, and you just know how to talk about it a lot.
Yeah.
But when you're actually physically out there, showing people, talking to people, discussing what you're doing, there's a lot of legitimacy there.
Yeah, I agree.
That you lose over the internet.
I agree, and I think swap meets it's a good idea for low budget and things like that. And I had an idea. I think I might actually go to the swap meet and give away free computer repair and maybe or $20 for computer repair and a free psychic reading. Sounds good to me, right? I mean, got to throw something in there that they'll like. I just pictured the scene from Mallrats in my head of them going to the psychic, the topless psychic. The swap meet.
As long as it's not you that's topless.
No, that's I would be paying them to leave type of thing.
To run, you mean?
Yeah, exactly. But that brings up another question for me. Of the 1,100 that signed up, were they free? Were they all free? Or did you have a bunch of people paying?
Most of them were free.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't matter. I'm just curious.
Like 95% of them were free. But again, the only thing we cannot renew is time and attention.
Right.
So if you can capture it and you can build trust, that's more valuable to me than, $49 here and there. Right? Obviously, I want the money so I can build better content. I can pay for food and all the things that we all need to pay for. But, I really, really value time and attention more than hard currency. And that's where I think for you, if you were in person with a lot of these people, they will build so much trust with you just from being in person and talking to you for 5 minutes. More trust than they ever would by seeing a little ad. And I'm hoping that stuff like this will help me as well, where people will actually start to trust me and realize that, I'm not just some guy who's peddling stuff on the side of the street trying to make a dime,
Yeah, I definitely agree with that, because once you get that rapport with people and once you have your 1,400 subscribers, your next project that you pitch, since they trust you and they've given their time to you, they're going to listen to your next pitch and then your pitch after that and after that, so that it's just interesting because Udemy has a set of guidelines that they give new instructors of how to promote their course. And 95% of it is to use social media, blogs, and things like that. I don't remember seeing anything in there about actually getting out and going and talking to people, or a lot of the stuff that you did, like you said, the email list that you chose not to do, that's a big thing on Udemy, and they tell you, send an email, use your email list, and a lot of people do that, and they just spam the crap out of people.
Yeah, not to discredit Udemy at all. The strategy can work, but I don't agree with it.
Right, they're still, it's like working out a generic thing. It may work for some people, it may not.
Yeah, exactly. And I think with Udemy, they try and learn as much from their teachers as they can. I've talked to them and over the phone actually, and they want to learn from our success and how they can teach other people the same thing. But when your success comes down to it, it's not going to be the same formula that I did. It might be similar, it might be the exact same thing. But you might have to think out of the box. And I think the best advice, though, is to actually talk to someone in person about what you're trying to do. And I did that a long time ago with website design for entrepreneurs, and got interest of like, oh, would we want to go deeper, guys? Like, would we want to know programming? And there was some interest, but then, I kind of realized that this wasn't even my target market, but it helped me get some momentum going and also kind of take a step back and realize that I could do more than I'm currently offering.
Yeah, I like that. I mean, being able to, I guess I didn't realize, because it's not meant to be mean, but you remind me of like a one-hit wonder. You just popped out of nowhere. You know what I mean? Like, I've been part of Udemy for a while, and I'm a pretty active member of the Udemy community and everything, and I know what's going on. But and you just kind of came out of nowhere and had 1,000 subscribers. It just blew my mind. And the fact that you are telling me now that you were talking about this a year ago is awesome.
Well, it only happened to take that long because of fear of failure, fear of it not getting anybody, which is ridiculous, but it's true, because at the very least I should be able to get, my close friends and my family. At the very least I should be able to get them, even though most of them have not signed up yet. Which is okay, but I know that if it was going really bad and I was all bummed about it, they would all sign up just to kind of give me a boost,
Yeah.
But as far as coming out of nowhere, no. I was watching what Udemy was doing. I get the emails. I've taken a few different classes on there, and as a lifelong learner that I am, I try and learn as much as I can. So I'm constantly trying to pick up the latest in technologies, or how certain people do different practices with Django or Python, because there are different ways to do programming. And I just try and pick those things up. So I was very much active with Udemy. I just didn't launch anything because of me holding myself back in a way. And as far as like a one-hit wonder, I really hope that's not the case.
Yeah, I know what you meant. I think you could have worded that differently.
Yeah, that's all that came to my mind. So I'm sorry, but that's all I got.
Yeah, but I would also say, like, I'm not an overnight success.
No.
Because I don't feel like I've hit it yet. I really don't. I think it's a very good start. I have a lot to work with, but there's still a lot more that I need to do, because I believe if you guys are going to give me your time and attention, I need to give you so much for that. So much more than you would ever even ask for.
Yeah.
And that's also why my class is only $49. And that's, it's so much, like, it has 8 hours of content. And like, if you try to take the exact same class, let's say it's about 8 hours. Sorry, it's a little under 8. It's about 7 hours and 15 minutes right now, but it will be 8 shortly. So if you want to take 8 hours of class at a community college, that you do not get video of unless you sit there and record it. If you wanted to do that at a community college, it's going to cost you, what is it, $100 probably, maybe
and
more?
you don't have the money back guarantee. I mean, there's 30-day money back guarantee with Udemy. The lifetime access, that's phenomenal for one, for $50. And a lot of Udemy classes themselves that are 8 hours long are $200.
Yeah.
So when you told me, I was expecting, because I got it for free. You gave it to me to preview for the radio show and whatnot, and I didn't even look at the price to begin with. I just got it for free, and I was honestly thinking $99 and up, and that's why I was so confused about the promotion coupon you gave me. I was like, "What are you talking about? Only $30? It's just $30 off? What? I mean, what?" And when you said it was only $49, it blew my mind. Because that's crazy.
Again, it's about delivering, hopefully under promising. I hope I don't make the wrong impression that you're going to be like an expert programmer after taking this class. No, you're going to have a better understanding of how to launch your own web project in less time than you've ever probably thought. Like, because making an e-commerce site, most people might think that, oh man, that's going to take 4 months to build. I try and do it in less than 10 hours. When it's all said and done, it's probably going to be less than 10 hours of total coding time. That's complete with transactions and all that. Now, if you just take the class to kind of learn, one thing that you definitely will get from it is that, wow, an experienced coder could finish an e-commerce site in roughly 10 hours probably after running bugs and more than that, it will be longer than that. It probably actually end up being around 30 hours or so after all the design's done, and maybe even more than that, depending on how picky certain things are about it. But to understand that, then you can really start to value, if somebody says, oh, it's going to cost you $30,000 to make an e-commerce site from scratch, or they're going to tell you it's going to cost you $100 to do it. This is something you might see a lot on Elance, which I just kind of wanted to take that out of the equation too, so you can kind of right away realize, wow, we could build a pretty well-functioning e-commerce site in less than 10 hours. That's amazing. Like, that's not very much time. So.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And as opposed to spending $50,000 on hiring a specialist to do it for you, or however much it's going to cost you, pay $49 and learn it yourself.
Yeah, and another thing that I do want to touch on is that hiring people overseas or hiring people in general, if you know a programming language, you can start to read their work easier. Like, it might be still a little difficult, it might be challenging to kind of understand exactly what's going on, but you will understand more. So you have a better understanding that it's not like this magic science that they're doing. I mean, there are sometimes there's definitely an art to it, but like, you can learn from people that you hire, whether that's locally or overseas. You can learn from them, or you can even test them out to see if they're legitimate or not. So, like, if you wanted to outsource some of the work that you're starting to get, or the work that you're doing, you can do that, and you would give them something that you know how to do now, and you would be able to see their quality of work, and if you actually like working with them. And that's when you can start outsourcing and hiring people to work on this project with you, and you can do it for a lot less than initially, because you already have the whole site set up or whatever.
Yeah,
without a doubt. I mean, I know in my experience working in firms, like, a lot of the clients we had don't have a clue of what we're doing, and we'll do Scrum meetings and things like that, and it's all over their head. They have no idea why we're saying this is what's going to take this long, this is what we're going to do this week, this is why we're going to do this week, things like that. And if you at least have some sort of understanding or knowledge of what goes into coding, or any facet of these kind of jobs, you have some input there, and or you can at least feel confident that what's going to go on during this next sprint or iteration is going to be correct, or what's going to happen after that, or anything like that. It's just really good to know what's under the hood.
Yeah. And like, if you're an author, an aspiring author, and you want to write a book, like, I mean, who are you going to learn from? You're going to learn from really good authors, or authors that already have done it, and then you can read what they've done and how they put things together, and you'll understand it a little bit stronger. But if you never knew how to write or read, like, it's going to be impossible for you to value either two books. I know I'm kind of beating a dead horse, but it's going to be hard for you to value whether it's an expert or an amateur writer. And that's kind of, I mean, it still can be hard depending on who you talk to, but, like, that's kind of the point, is like, if you understand it more, it will make your whole entrepreneurial life a lot easier.
Yeah.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Let's run to a quick commercial break, and we'll come back and talk a little bit more. We'll be back with Justin Mitchell on Live Speak with Justin the Geek.
Your computer might be a little old.
It might be expensive.
And it might be a little slow.
But I have a secret to share with you. A secret the professionals do not want to tell you. You can fix your own computer.
Yes, you.
It's much easier than you'll ever believe. But don't take my word for it. See for yourself. Sign up for Justin's computer repair course on udemy.com called Speed Up Your Computer the Easy Way for just $19. Watch as he walks you through speeding up your computer and helping you to prevent future problems.
Don't be scared.
It's really simple. So simple, in fact, it's insulting that we've all had to spend our hard-earned money just to get our computers repaired. Just go to
www.geekcreations.com
and click online courses to get more information. Again, go to
www.geekcreations.com.
That's GEEKREATIONS.com and click online courses to get more information and great discounts. Don't wait. Fix it today
Before it breaks.
Warning, this show can be freaky. Justin the Geek. Whoa, your favorite DJ. You've been warned.
Welcome back, everybody, to Live Speak with Justin the Geek. We're talking with Justin Mitchell from codingforentrepreneurs.com. Again, I'm going to let everybody know that his course is $49. You can go to codingforentrepreneurs.com, and he's giving 300 coupons. The first 300 people that get the coupon will get the discount. $19 off. You only pay $30 for over 7 hours of content, which is phenomenal. And that coupon code is Geek Creation. We're going to double check to make sure it's Geek Creation without the S.
It is actually with the S.
Oh, it is with the S. Okay, so
Yes.
it's just Geek Creations then. GeekReations, and I'll put that on the show notes afterwards, as well as the recap on geekcreations.com. It's been a fantastic show, Justin. I really do want to thank you for being on the show.
Thank you, Justin. I had a great time. I'm really happy that I could sit here and talk with you and Alan. I realize I probably did too much talking, but thanks so much for having me out.
Yeah, it's been great. I really did like having you on the show, and your insights have been more than generous. I think a lot of people are going to learn some great things from this. I know I have during the show. But everybody that is listening, stay tuned. Head over to thedigitalcraft.com. Check out the private sessions from Alan. Also, head over to geekcreations.com to get a recap of the show and the coupon for Justin Mitchell's course. Next week, we're going to be talking big data and the effects that it has on our life and what it's going to have in the future. So stay with us and see us next week again, 2 p.m. Live Speak with Justin the Geek. Have a fantastic week.
You've been listening to Live Speak with Justin the Geek. Every Sunday at 2 p.m., Justin brings you amazing courses on Udemy.com and amazing guests and great conversation. Miss an episode? No problem. Go to www.geekcreations.com and click on the episode to listen. And join us next week for another episode of Live Speak
With Justin the Geek.